Dear students, the topic of our class is classification of laws. Main kinds of law. There are two main kinds of law, general law, special law. General law is that kind of law which is applicable generally to all the people of a country without any discrimination. Special law is that category of law which is applicable to a particular class of people, to a particular part of society, or to a particular territory. General law, it includes all the law which are applicable to all the people of a country without any discrimination. It includes all the laws which are not limited to a particular part or a particular class of person. These laws, they are applicable to all the citizens throughout the country. Some of the example of general law of India is Constitution of India, Criminal Law of India, Indian Contract Act. Kinds of general law. There are three main kinds of general law: statute law, equity law, common law. Statute law is the written law which is passed by the legislature. For example, your Indian Contract Act, your Indian Penal Code. The second is equity law. Equity law is the branch of law which developed alongside common law and which primarily concerned with the fairness and the justice. Third is the common law. Common law is that part of the English law which is derived from the custom and judicial precedent rather than the enactment or a statute. Specific law. Specific laws are the laws which are applied to a particular place, particular member, or a particular class of person. For example, there are the land laws as well as the rent laws which are applicable to the particular state only. Some of the examples of specific laws in India are Delhi Rent Control Act. It deals with all the provisions relating to the determination of the rent, the rise of the rent, or how the dispute it can be solved if there is any dispute between the tenant as well as the owner. And it is applicable to the Delhi only. The second is Haryana Urban Control of Rent and Eviction Act 1973. Similarly, it deals with the rent provisions in Haryana. Third is UP Urban Building Regulation of Letting, Rent and Eviction Act 1972. And this is also the similar law which is applicable in the UP. So the basic laws which are given in these particular acts, they are on a single parameter, but the rules they differ according to the valuation of a particular land in the particular place. For example, in the Delhi, the rent of the similar building which is there in the UP rural area will be different, as well as the determination of the compensation or any other provision, it will also differ. So that's why they are known as specific law, the laws which are applicable to the particular place and which will differ from place to place. Next is kinds of special law. There are six main kinds of special law. First is local law, then foreign law, martial law, conventional law, autonomic law, and the last is prize law. So I will just give a brief idea of all these laws. The first is local law. Local law means the law which is applicable to a certain part of a country or a state. For example, your Delhi Rent Control Act, it is also a local law. Why it is a local law? Because it is only going to be applicable to the rent disputes or for the determination of the rent which is there within the territory of the Delhi. It will not apply to the other part of the country. That's why it is known as local law. The second category, that is the foreign law. Foreign law means the law which is cited by a court from other country. For example, there is a dispute in a country A, and in that dispute the reference is taken from the judgment or a particular statute which is passed by the country B. So for the citizens of the country A or for the court of country A, the law of country B is foreign law. The third is martial law. Martial law means when there is temporary submission of the military authority for civil rule. That is known as martial law. The fourth, we are having conventional law. Conventional law means the law which is originated out of the agreement between the states or the person on which it is applicable. For example, your Geneva Convention, your Kyoto Protocol, your ENMOD, these are the examples of the conventional law. Now the next is autonomic law. Autonomic law means the private person's law. Autonomic law is the internal rule and regulation imposed by the private entity. For example, your corporate bylaws or the university laws, that is known as autonomic law. And the last is price law. Price law concept, it arises out of the international customary law and it relates to the capture of the ship and cargoes during the naval warfare or during the armed conflict. Salmon's classification of law. So Salmon has classified the law into various categories: imperative law, physical or scientific law, natural law, conventional law, customary law, practical or technical law, international law, and the last is civil law. Imperative law is a set of rules which prescribe the general course of conduct to be followed by the society, and these are imposed by some superior authorities such as sovereign. Some of the example of the imperative law is criminal law, Indian Contract Act, constitutional law, family law, procedural law, etc. Physical or scientific law, the laws which are formulated after repeated experimentation is known as physical or scientific law. These are the laws which are based upon certain set of experiments. For example, your law of gravitation, law of thermodynamics, law of vibration, law of relativity. There are certain peculiar characteristics of scientific law. The 9 main characters of the scientific law is: every scientific law will have objectivity, then it will be verifiable, ethical neutrality will be there will be systematic exploration, reliability, precision, accuracy, and the last is abstractness. So these are the 9 characteristics of the scientific law. Natural law. Natural law, it is also known as higher law or law of nature. It is the system of law which is based upon the close observation of human behavior. It contains the inherent right, it provides the inherent right to the person which are conferred not by any particular set of regulation or enactment or legislature, but these inherent rights, they are given by the God, nature or the reason. It is universal in the nature, non-man-made, and it is binding and immutable condition which govern all the consequences of the behavior. Conventional law. The Salmond has also classified the rules which are the outcome of the agreement as conventional law. So the conventional law, these are the set of rules which are decided between the countries to regulate their own mutual conduct. It is one of the form of the special law also, as it is not having the universal application. It will be applicable only on those countries which has entered into the agreement. These set of the rules, they are only binding on the signatories, and if other countries they want to get regulated by these particular set of rules and regulation, they have to rectify it. Some of the example of the conventional law is Geneva Convention, ENMOD, Kyoto Protocol, Vienna Convention, etc. Customary law. Customary law, this is the set of rules which are the outcome of the usage or tradition followed by number of people, any community or a tribe. So these rule and usage, they are acknowledged as a part of law when Any dispute, it has been decided by the judiciary on the basis of these traditions, or when these rules or these traditions, they are formulated as a part of enactment, for example as a part of any section or subsection, then also it become a customary law. So these are the two methods for the valid legal custom. For the formulation of valid legal custom, either the rule it is acknowledged by a judiciary in a particular dispute. The second is when the rule it is incorporated in an enactment as a part of any section. So there are certain essentials of a valid custom also. So what are the essentials? The first is the custom must be ancient. So it must be ancient, it must be followed from generations to generations. Then only it can have the binding power, then only it can be recognized as a valid legal custom. The second is it must be continuous. It must be continuous means that whenever the similar situations arises, those similar situations they are decided by the members by following the same rule. It is not that for one time it is followed and the other time it is not followed. It must be continuously followed by the generation to generation. Third is it must be reasonable, equitable, and it must be according to the public policy. For example, there can be a rule in a particular society to consume liquor on daily basis, but the consumption of the liquor on daily basis, it is against the public order and tranquility. So it cannot be acknowledged as a law. It cannot become a part of customary law. So this is the important requisite that any particular usage which is reasonable, equitable, and which is in accordance to the public policy, that particular rule can only become a customary law. And the last is it must not be contrary to the statutory law. That if there is any act which is already passed by a legislature, then in that case, if any particular custom is prevailing there, any particular rule is there, it cannot ripen into the customary law in contradiction to the statutory law. So now I will take certain examples of the customary law in India. In India also, certain usage and the traditions of the people, they are acknowledged as a customary law. And one example is the Saptapati. In case of the Hindu marriage, there is a requirement. There is a requirement for essential requirement for valid Hindu marriage, that the ceremonial requirement is that the parties they have to undergo the Saptapati if it is in the tradition of the bride or groom. Then in that case, Saptapati it is the essential ceremonial requirement for a valid Hindu marriage, and it is incorporated in the Hindu Marriage Act under section 7 subsection 2. So this is the one example. One more example I will take in this particular topic. The second customary law which I will discuss here, that is the law of the adoption in case of the Jat community of the Haryanas. In the Punjab and Haryana, the Jat community, they are having the law that they used to adopt their own son-in-law as a valid son. But according to the Hindu adoption laws, there cannot be the adoption of a male or female child who is more than 15 years. So the maximum age is 15 years. But in this community, they are having the rule that they used to adopt their own son-in-law. And these are in those cases where they are not having the son, they are only having the daughters. So in order to preserve their property, what they used to do, they used to adopt their own son-in-law. And this particular thing, it is recognized in different case laws, and the disputes they are decided, and those adoptions they are taken as a valid adoptions, and it becomes a part of customary law of Punjab and Haryana. Next is practical or technical law. The practical or technical law, it includes those laws which are necessary for attaining necessary ends or necessary results. For example, your law of architecture, The law of architecture, it includes your particular guidelines in which is to be followed in the construction of a building. So for the construction of building, these rules they are to be followed. So this is the technical law of the architecture. Similarly, there can be other example also, the health law. In case of the health law, the particular practical technique it is given that how to do a surgery in a particular case or how to do a C-section, etc. So these are the steps which are necessarily to be followed in order to attain the necessary purpose or the end. So these are known as practical laws. International law. International law is a set of rules which govern the international relationship. It regulates the relationship of one sovereign state with the other sovereign state. It comprises of the treaties formulated as well as the customary rules which are acknowledged by the sovereign states. So there are different branches of the international law. International humanitarian law. The international humanitarian law, it deals with the set of rules which tells how to conduct the armed conflict and how the armed conflicts they are going to be regulated. The second is international criminal law. The international criminal law, it established the rules by which the individual criminal responsibility can be ascertained for the international crimes such as war crimes, crime against humanity or genocide. And one more is the international environmental law. The international environmental law is a part of international law which deals with the protection, conservation and rehabilitation of the environment. Civil law. Civil law, it implies all the rules and regulations of a particular land or municipal law. The term municipal law means the law of a particular land or a particular part of a country.